My brother's laughter echoed through our parents' living room as my business cards scattered across the parquet floor. Seriously, Olivia, a strategic innovation consultant? Stop pretending to be something you're not. I watched as Lucas, my older brother by 2 years, rubbed his expensive leather shoe into one of my cards, smearing the embossed letters I had paid extra for. He was 35, the epitome of what our family considered success, a recently hired executive director at Pinnacle Technologies, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in Seattle. Those cards cost money, Lucas, I said quietly, bending to gather the scattered remnants of my professional identity. Money you can't afford to waste. He smirked, adjusting his Rolex. A gift from our parents for the new job. Admit it, sis. Consulting is just a fancy word for unemployment. Just then, our mother walked in with a tray of snacks for Lucas' celebratory dinner. Olivia, dear, are you still doing that freelancing? You know, your father could make a call and set you up with something more stable. I straightened up, shoving the salvaged cards into my blazer pocket. The blazer was Armani, though they'd never know it wasn't from last year's sales rack. In their eyes, I was still the family disappointment, the one who had turned down a real career to start her own business. I'm doing fine, Mom, I replied, thinking about the meeting I had just come from, the one where I signed the final papers to acquire Pinnacle Technologies through my holding company, Horizon Ventures. Fine doesn't mean successful, Lucas interjected, plopping into our father's leather armchair. While you're consulting, sis, I'll be transforming Pinnacle. They're lucky to have me. You know, the CEO practically begged me to join. I stifled a smile, knowing the CEO was already quietly informed about the upcoming changes in leadership. Lucas had no idea his dream job was about to undergo a radical shift. When do you start? I asked, already knowing the answer. Monday. He grinned, pulling out his own business cards, thick, glossy, with gold lettering. Executive Vice President. Unlike some, I have an actual position at an actual company. At that moment, our father walked in, beaming with pride. Son, I was just talking to Henry from the country club. Everyone is talking about your new appointment. Finally, a grant making headlines in the business world. I thought about the headlines that would be out next week when Horizon Ventures announced its ownership of Pinnacle. The mysterious holding company was the talk of Seattle's business circles, known for its aggressive acquisitions and innovative management strategies. No one knew that the youngest Grant was behind the corporate veil, quietly building an empire while her family scoffed at her career choices. Olivia was just showing us her business cards, Lucas said, putting air quotes around the word business. Father glanced at the crumpled card on the floor. Consulting, dear, it's been 3 years. Maybe it's time to admit this entrepreneurial phase isn't working out. For 3 years, while they thought I was barely scraping by with freelance work, I had turned my grandmother's inheritance, a modest $1 million they considered a waste, into a holding company worth over $300 million. Horizon Ventures now owned stakes in dozens of companies in the tech sector. Each acquisition was carefully and anonymously executed. Actually, I said, grabbing my bag, I have a few meetings tomorrow. Big changes are coming. Changes? Mom perked up. Are you finally considering a real job? Something like that. I smiled, thinking about the email I had received during dinner, confirmation that Horizon Ventures now owned 67% of Pinnacle Technology stock. Don't expect any introductions at Pinnacle from me, Lucas called out as I headed for the door. We have standards. I paused and turned back. Don't worry, Lucas. I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of each other soon. In my car, a deliberately understated Audi to avoid raising suspicion, I checked my messages. My assistant had confirmed everything was set for the announcement on Monday. The board of directors would convene at 9 a.m. to formally approve the acquisition, followed by a company-wide meeting to introduce Pinnacle's new owner, the same meeting where Lucas would learn his little sister wasn't just doing fine, she was his boss. My phone buzzed. A message from Mom. Darling, Lucas left some of his business contacts here. I saved them. You might find them useful. I started the car, thinking about the stack of non-disclosure agreements on my desk at Horizon Ventures, the ones every Pinnacle executive, including their new executive vice president, would have to sign on Monday. No thanks, Mom, I replied. I have all the contacts I need. The weekend dragged on slowly in a stream of family messages celebrating Lucas' success. Mom sent hourly updates about his new office furniture. Father forwarded articles about Pinnacle Technology's promising future. Even our cousins chimed in with congratulations for finally having someone important in the family. I read each message from my penthouse, watching the Sunday fog roll between the Seattle skyscrapers. The Horizon Ventures logo glowed softly on the wall behind my desk, a rising sun breaking through the clouds, symbolic of what tomorrow would bring. Ms. Grant, my assistant, Sophie, said over the intercom. Final confirmation from all 17 board members. Everyone has signed the NDA regarding tomorrow's announcement. Only the CEO knows your identity. I smiled, remembering my meeting with Pinnacle's Edward Blakely last week. His shock at learning the mysterious head of Horizon Ventures was the sister of his new executive vice president was priceless. Lucas' onboarding schedule starts at 8 a.m. with HR paperwork, Sophie continued. The company-wide meeting is set for 10 a.m. in the main hall. We've arranged for him to sit in the front row. Let him enjoy his moment in the sun before everything changes. My phone buzzed again. A family group message. This time from Lucas. Last chance for any career advice, sis. My business cards may be expensive, but at least they're not thrown on the floor. I was about to reply when Sophie rushed in with a tablet in her hands. Your brother just posted on LinkedIn about transforming Pinnacle's future. The comments. Well, you should see for yourself. The post was exactly what I expected. Lucas in his best suit, standing in front of the Pinnacle logo, promising revolutionary changes under his leadership. Our father had already commented, "That's my boy. Show them how a Grant runs a business." If only they knew. Sophie, make sure the photographer is ready tomorrow. I want to capture the moment Lucas realizes who really owns Pinnacle. Already arranged, she replied, then hesitated. Your parents might be there too. Lucas said they wanted to see his new office. Even better, I grinned. Let everyone witness the moment their definition of success crumbles. I spent Sunday reviewing the changes I planned to implement at Pinnacle. The company had potential but was stuck in outdated practices. That's why I had chosen it for acquisition. Under Horizon Ventures' leadership, we would modernize the technology, streamline operations, and, most importantly, eradicate the old-school mentality that stifled innovation. My phone kept buzzing. Mom, Lucas' office has a view of the Space Needle. When will you have an office with a view? Dad, son is already taking meetings with major clients. This is real business. Lucas, want me to save you a broom closet at Pinnacle? Perfect for a consultant. I left all the messages unread, focusing on tomorrow's presentation, the one where I would lay out my vision for Pinnacle's future, a future that did not include my brother in the role of executive vice president. At midnight, a final message arrived from our grandmother, the only family member who knew the truth. Give 'em hell tomorrow, dear. Success is the best revenge, but making them watch is even better. I slept soundly that night, dreaming of boardroom takeovers and shattered coffee mugs. Monday morning dawned bright and clear. I dressed meticulously in a custom-tailored suit that cost more than Lucas' monthly salary, the very suit I had worn to sign the acquisition papers. This time, however, I added my grandmother's diamond pendant, a reminder of where it all began. Ms. Grant, Sophie called from my private elevator. Your brother just arrived at Pinnacle. He's already making changes. He fired 2 senior managers and demanded his office be repainted. Says the current color scheme doesn't reflect his vision. I glanced at my watch. How long does the HR paperwork take? About an hour, Sophie replied. But he's insisting they expedite the process, so he can start making real changes immediately. Perfect timing. Let him dig his hole deeper. At 7 a.m., I got into my personal car, not the Audi I drove to family events, but the Bentley I reserved for business meetings. As we pulled up to Pinnacle headquarters, I noticed my parents entering the main entrance, dressed as if they were going to a coronation. My phone buzzed one last time. Lucas, corner office looks great. Don't worry, I'll wave when I see you washing windows. I typed back the first message of the day, looking forward to our meeting. Don't be late. His response was instantaneous. Sorry, sis, executive only. Maybe next time. I stepped out of the Bentley, straightening my blazer. The security guards immediately stood at attention. They had been briefed on who really owned the company. The receptionist jumped up. Welcome, Ms. Grant. The board of directors is ready when you are. Time to show my family what real success looked like. Precisely at 8 a.m., I stood backstage in Pinnacle's main hall, listening to the excited chatter of 500 employees. Through a gap in the curtain, I saw Lucas in the front row, holding court with our parents. His new assistant was running back and forth with coffee and schedule updates. Everything is in place, Sophie whispered, handing me a final report. Board members are seated. Press is ready. She grinned. Your brother just sent out an email to all employees announcing his transformational leadership. I glanced at my phone. There was Lucas' email. Your new executive vice president. I promise to revolutionize Pinnacle Technologies. Change starts today. He had no idea how right he was. Edward Blakely, Pinnacle's CEO, approached, looking apologetic. Ms. Grant, your brother has already demanded the dismissal of 3 more managers and is threatening to restructure entire departments. Don't worry, Edward. I replied confidently. There will be a restructuring, but not the kind he envisions. 8 a.m. Sharp. Edward walked on stage. The hall went silent. Only Lucas was whispering quietly to our parents. Watch. Blakely's probably going to announce my first big initiative. Good morning, Pinnacle Technologies, he began. As you know, our company has recently undergone significant changes. Today, I am proud to introduce the person who will lead us into the future, the owner of Horizon Ventures and our new majority shareholder. I saw Lucas lean forward, probably expecting some wealthy businessman to appear. Please welcome our new owner and CEO, Olivia Grant. As I walked on stage, an absolute hush fell over the hall. In the front row, a coffee mug slipped from Lucas' hand and shattered on the floor. My mother's hand flew to her throat. My father's face changed from red to white in a matter of seconds. Thank you, Edward, I said, taking my place at the podium. For those of you who don't know me, I am the founder and CEO of Horizon Ventures. As of last week, we own 67% of Pinnacle Technologies. The audience erupted in whispers. Phones rang everywhere, capturing the moment. In the front row, Lucas looked like he had forgotten how to breathe. Some of you may have received an email this morning about transformational leadership. I continued, relishing the sight of Lucas sinking into his chair. That transformation starts now, though perhaps not in the way some expected. I advanced the presentation slide, displaying Horizon Ventures' portfolio of successful tech companies. Under our leadership, Pinnacle will modernize its infrastructure, expand its market presence, and, I paused, meeting Lucas' stunned gaze, eliminate outdated management structures that value titles over talent. My father stood up, his voice shaking. Security, I said calmly. Please escort out anyone who is not an employee. We are discussing confidential company matters. As security approached, Lucas jumped to his feet. You can't do this. I'm the executive vice president. I advanced the slide to an organizational chart. That position has been eliminated in our restructuring. Though, I hear the IT department needs a junior analyst. You did take a programming course in college, didn't you? But my office, my business cards. Lucas sputtered. Lucas Grant must vacate the premises by noon. I finished. Company policy for terminated employees. Though, unlike you, I won't throw your cards away. They might make an interesting historical exhibit. My mother was crying, mascara streaking her face. Olivia, how could you do this to your brother? The same way all of you did to me, I replied, my voice echoing through the silent hall, prejudging, assuming success looks only one way, dismissing anyone who doesn't fit your narrow definition of achievement. The next hour flew by in a blur of announcements, strategic plans, and corporate vision. I laid out Horizon Ventures' plan for Pinnacle, introduced key initiatives, and answered questions from increasingly enthusiastic employees while my family sat in the front row, petrified, watching their definition of success crumble before their eyes. After the presentation, I found them waiting outside my new office, the corner office Lucas had tried to redecorate. "This is humiliating," Lucas hissed. "I've already told everyone about my position. Consider it a lesson in due diligence," I replied, admiring the view of Seattle. "Always know who owns the company before you start firing people." My father stepped forward, adopting a conciliatory tone. "Princess, can't we discuss this? Family should help family." How did you help me?" I turned to them, mocking my business, throwing away my cards, dismissing me as a failure because I chose a different path. "We were trying to protect you," my mother pleaded. "No, you were trying to control me, to force me down your path to success." I sat down at my desk. My grandmother's pendant caught the morning light. "Real success doesn't need anyone's permission." Lucas made one last attempt. "The country club, my reputation. You have to give me another chance." "Not really," I replied, opening my laptop. "But since you're so interested in consulting, here's my card." I handed over one of Horizon Ventures' business cards. "They're on the desk, though you might want to handle them carefully. They're quite expensive." Security approached to escort them out. I overheard Lucas asking my father if his old position at the family friends firm was still available. Over the next few weeks, Pinnacle transformed. Innovation flourished. Employee morale soared without the old hierarchy. The stock price jumped 30% on the news of Horizon Ventures' leadership. My family's reactions varied. Mom sent daily, emotional appeals for family loyalty. Father alternated between threats and attempts at reconciliation. Lucas posted vague LinkedIn updates about exploring new opportunities while secretly interviewing for entry-level positions. A month after the announcement, I received an invitation to speak at my old business school's graduation ceremony. The theme, redefining success, moving beyond traditional paradigms. I accepted, planning to use my family's crumpled business cards as visual aids. The morning of the speech, I received a final message from my grandmother. "Saw Pinnacle's latest stock price. Well done, dear." Sometimes, the best revenge isn't just proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. They couldn't ignore that. Looking out from my office at Seattle, the office Lucas had so briefly occupied, I thought about success in all its forms, about discarded business cards, about empires built in silence, about brothers who thought titles gave power, and sisters who knew that true power was owning the company. On my desk, next to the acquisition reports and strategic plans, was one framed photograph. Grandmother, on the day she gave me my inheritance, both of us smiling as if sharing a secret that, of course, wasn't just about money or success, but about patience, vision, and the sweet satisfaction of watching those who underestimated you realize just how wrong they were.